Hello, hello. Welcome back to my series of Ramadan lifts. Today we have a hamstring focused leg day. Ugh. You know, neurons and shit, so. Ugh. Holy shit, why is this so hard? At Fitness Cartel Nanda, so a little bit of change of scenery today, unlocked a new background. So we're going to train at Nanda today. Nanda's got a pretty good lighting set, so it's going to be a good video, hopefully. We are buzzing today. It is 11:16 at night. We are buzzing because number one, Wesley Visses just won the Arnold Classic. Thank God. He looked amazing, which is I'm really gassed about. I was hoping for him to win. And Charles Oliveira also won today, but he beat Max Holloway. Everyone likes Max Holloway, but Charles Oliveira won. Let's just focus on the positive. And George Russell and Kimi Antonelli won too at the Australian GP today, which is amazing. Watching it at work today on my break, so it was really cool to see. I'm very happy as a Merc fan myself. But sidetracked, let's just focus on the session today. So what we're going to do is the exact opposite of my quad days. So usually on my quad days I do 4 to 6 sets of my actual quads and then 1 exercise of my hamstrings, and then obviously my accessories, which would be my abductors and my calves. Today is the exact opposite. So what we'll do is we'll do 4 to 6 sets of our actual hamstrings, and then opposite of that for our quads we'll do 1 exercise, 2-3 sets on our quads, which is probably just going to be a leg extension, probably a single leg. And then again we'll do our accessories, which is our hamstrings, our calves and our abductors as well. So that'll be the session today. We have the concoction over here as well for our pre-workout, the same as last video. We have the Hypernova 1 scoop, and we got the non-stim for the same brand. I'll throw up a photo real quick because I forgot to do the last video. So that's 1 scoop each, a bit of creatine, a bit of glutamine, and yeah, that's the session. I'm going to sit this down and we're going to go ahead inside. Alright, so we have first exercise, which is a dumbbell RDL. So we've got 50 kilos here as my top set. So we're going to try and fall within the 10 to 20 range. Typically I don't like to go under that kind of range, under the 10 mark, because when you get too much weight, you can't really feel your hamstring contract, and it's a lot of the other muscle groups come in supporting the movement pretty much. It's a pretty big compound movement, which means a lot of other muscles are recruiting in this exercise when it comes to your glutes, when it comes to your lower back and your erectors. So try and keep the weight heavy but relatively stable, which is the main goal. So what we'll do is we'll try and keep our legs pretty stagnant, you know, not like a stiff leg, but almost similar. So we're driving our hips back and making sure we get a good stretch in both one, the glutes, and number 2, the hamstring. So you won't see me go all the way down, all the way up, because a lot of that was just your erectors. But we're going to try and lengthen the hamstring and actually train them on 1, the hip hinge movement, and number 2 will be the actual isolation exercise, which we'll do after, which is probably that single leg hamstring curl over there. So enough yap. We'll get on to our first set here. We've got 50 kilos on the board. We'll see how many reps we go. Alright, so first set was really good. We did fall within my rep range, which is our 10 to 20. I think I got 14 or so, or whatever it was. So rep range was perfect, which means the weight was good. You could probably stabilize it a little bit better, probably shoot my hips back just a little bit more to get more glutes. But you know, fine tweaks, but overall, it was a good set. What you'll see is I'm using straps. So the reason why I always advocate for straps when it comes to heavy dumbbell movement, even though these aren't something that you can't grip yourself, it's just one factor that you don't have to think about. So when you're thinking about these kind of movements, or whether it be a deadlift or anything like that, a lot of the time it's actually your biomechanics. So it would be your shins over your toes, or your hips all the way back for your glute activation, or your chest over your toes. These little kind of cues is what you should be focusing on. It shouldn't be your grip. So if your grip is your limiting factor when it comes to these movements, you should take it out of the equation, because your actual mindset should be on the main things that actually matter when it comes to performing these kind of movements. So always advocate for straps, because it just takes your grip out of the movement. See, 50 kilos is nothing I can't hold, but these kind of things is, I'd rather not think about it and to focus on the biomechanics of the movement rather than me gripping the thunder shit out of these dumbbells. So that's exactly why I use straps, and exactly why you should use them as well. But onto our second set. That was good. Second set done. Okay, so next exercise is a single leg hamstring curl. Now, the last video I did on my quad day, it was a cable loaded one. So that is a sack loaded one from Hamstring. This one from Techno Gym is a plate loaded one. We're gonna try to aim for about 10 reps plus. And then probably as my hamstrings fatigue, they'll get weaker as the 3 sets go on. So we'll start with this way and then probably drop as we go, but we'll see how many reps we get. All right, first set. Ooh. All right, that's 12 on each leg with the 20. We might see if we can go for 8 or so on the next set, and then we'll drop the weight, I think. And then on the last set, we'll probably do 20 plus just to get the blood flow in. And then we'll do on the one quad exercise, which is our quad extension. So on to the next set. All right, set number 2. We're gonna aim for about 10, maybe 8, most likely, because my hamstrings just die. We'll start with our right leg like we did last set, because our right leg hamstring is a little bit weaker than our left. I blame football for that, so that's fine. We'll fix it up and we'll go straight into our right leg. All right, that was good. 10 reps on each leg. So we'll drop the weight now. We'll go all the way to 20. Ooh. Well, that was good. Onto our left, that was 20. Bit much, but you know, classic Nate, overthinking his strength, so that's fine. We'll do another 20. Last couple of reps are a bit of a halfie, but that's fine. We'll get the number and we'll move on. Alright, on to quads. Alright, so after a very lengthy warm-up, because obviously my knees aren't as ready as they typically would be on a quad day. So after our 2 hamstrings, we're gonna do now single leg quad extensions. So the reason why I do single leg is because it just has simple as that, it has less stress on my knees. So the benefit is I can get maximum stimulus on the one leg, and I also get the less loadability per leg, which means I have better safe spot for my knees. So we'll do only about 30 kilos now after an extensive warm up with my knees. So with about 30 kilos, slow, contracted, and really get the full range of motion. So lean back like always to get a good stretch in my rectus femoris. And then we're gonna be trying to drive with my quad, but from the back of the quad. So it really gets the entire quad, not just the teardrop near the knee, because you're driving through your knee, not your quad. So make sure you're driving with the back of your quad, and you realize if you're doing that or not. If you get your finger and you tense the very back of your quad and you make sure it's tense all the way through the entire movement, that's how you know you're actually simulating the entire quad throughout the movement. So let's get into our first set. Okay, that was good. First set done. You can really feel the difference between driving with your knee and driving with your quad. It almost feels like your quad muscles are standing up on its own rather than you driving your knee up and down. So there's a polar difference. Please do make sure you give it a try. And you'll see as well, I'll try and do like a little bit of a pinching movement or move my fingers a lot, because the more stimulus I get here, I get better mind muscle connection rather than me just holding it. If I flicker it a little bit, you know, neurons and shit. So that's a little bit of a key thing there, but it's all placebo, bro. It doesn't really matter that much, but if it works for you, it works for you. So that just works for me, and that's exactly why I record these videos, to show what works for me. So give it a go or not, it's up to you. But next set. Oh, that was good. 3 sets done. As soon as you start trying to activate that outer quad and you're pulling it through your quad, not through your knee, it's an absolute difference. Like, just lights up your quads. 3 sets, 30 kilos, but just lights you up. Anyways, that is our quads and hamstrings done. Onto our accessories, which is our adductors and our calves. We'll call it there. We might do a bit of abs, but I'm a bit lazy. Fuck it, well, why not? We'll just do a bit of abs, do a bit of a cable crunch. We'll call it there, because I'm getting a bit fat during Ramadan because metabolism is slow. So we'll try and work up the abs a little bit, incorporate into our leg days a little more. So stay tuned for that. We'll see how we go. But for now, do our abductors. Okay, so on our abductors now. Good, easy warm up. Because Nanda had the calf raise and the abductor machine run next to each other, I might as well superset it for, you know, my sleep's sake. So we'll do that. Get either out, back and forward, and we'll go on some cable crunches and call it a day. So yeah, enough yap. I'm sure you don't really want me to talk too much about abductors, but you got to do them. can't skip them. They give you the width on the front, so you know what, might as well do it. Can't skip them. So first set. Come on. Okay, so last exercise of the day is a cable crunch. Now, I'm not the best at executing these ab exercises simply because I just don't do them enough, but the idea is to actually utilize the function of your abs. Now, what is the function of your abs? The function of your abs is to extend and contract your spine, because your abs are here. If you can see that demonstration, your abs are here. So what it does is extend your spine and it contract your spine. So the idea here is to kneel down a little bit, have your feet and your knees towards the back, lean forward, and pretty much extend and stretch your abs, and then pretty much instead of just sitting down like this, actually arc your spine and contract your abs. So what you'll see me do is have a really weird arc in my back to get a good stretch, and then have a full flexion of my spine to get my abs fully contracted, and then again up and stretch on an arc, and then come all the way down. So it's a little bit hard to explain. I'm not the best at executing it, but I'll give it a go and show you a demonstration on what I'm trying to talk about. So you got your rope, knees nice and back. See what I mean when I can arch my back, get a good stretch of my abs, and then what I'm going to do is pretty much arc all the way down to my knees. Stretch, stretch, stretch. All right, first working set. Give it a go, but it's not a bad exercise. You actually feel your abs contracting and extending. You get a good pump in it, so it's obviously not the best for your lower abs because your lower abs are down here, but for your upper four, the contraction you get is phenomenal. So unphenomenal, I mean. But yeah, anyways, do 3 sets of here, we'll call it a day. Holy shit, why is it so hard? What the fuck? What the fuck? Why is that so hard? Jeez, I don't remember being that hard. Oh. Yikes, well, that was embarrassing. So, anyway, that is episode 7 of the Ramadan series. Thank you for watching. Next day, I think is a chest and back day, but we'll see how we go. But running low on sleep, but napping is really, really helping right now. So that's the only reason I can actually come here. I think it's 1 o'clock in the morning now. So thank you for tuning in though. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, see you in the next episode.